Hello and welcome to day 12 for Business English 2. Today we're going to be talking about subject-verb agreement. And on Monday, I gave you a little worksheet of some exercises to practice or to kind of a pretest to see how much you knew or how well you would do on these before we discuss them in class. Subject-verb agreement is a very common, very basic grammar point, but it's also a very difficult grammar point for some people. And it's an area where a lot of people make mistakes. There are a lot of common errors that people make in this. And so it's really important when you are speaking or writing to try to use the correct verb to go with the subject of your sentence. It's a pretty basic thing, but it's also really, really important to get right. It's one of those things where, especially in writing, if you get it wrong, it's a very obvious error. And So, especially with native speakers, when they make a mistake with subject and verb agreement, people kind of look at them and think they're uneducated or not real smart. So, especially as an ESL speaker, if you can master this, if you can become confident and good at subject verb agreement, it will make you look and sound much more intelligent and more educated. So that's why it's important that we spend some time on this. You have probably seen this before, or at least parts of this. You should have studied this, I would imagine, in some of your English classes prior to this. So you may have seen some of these things before. If so, then it will be review and should be pretty easy for you. However, if you have not seen it before, then this will be a very important topic for you to study and learn. So, if you have not done these exercises yet, please stop the video now. Take some time, 15 minutes or so, do the exercises before you listen to the lecture. That will help you identify the types of sentences that we're studying and the types of questions you're going to run into. So if you have not already done the exercises, please stop the video, do the exercises, and then continue once you have done them. Okay, so I should let you know that most of this material that I'm using today is from the Purdue University Online Writing Lab. The Online Writing Lab, the OWL, is called the OWL, the Online Writing Lab. And you will see a lot of universities in the US have something similar to this. Um, they usually have a writing lab on campus where students can go to get help and assistance with writing assignments or working on resumes and cover letters. Um, and they also may have something online where students can submit uh, papers or letters they have written to get some assistance with. Are you familiar with Purdue University? Have you heard of it before? Purdue University is one of the major universities located in the state of Indiana, which is my home state. The other major university in Indiana is called Indiana University. Most of my family went to Indiana University. My grandfather, my aunt, my uncle, my father, my mother, um, all three of my brothers, and one of my sisters went to Indiana University. I actually went to a joint campus of Indiana University and Purdue University in Indianapolis. But my degree is actually from Purdue University. So I was kind of a rebel in the family because I went to the rival university. By the way, I just realized this. The colors for Purdue University are black and gold. So I'm actually wearing Purdue University colors today. I didn't actually plan that, but kind of cool. So anyway, Purdue University is known especially for its engineering program, much like Inha University is. Um, Many of the astronauts in the U.S. space program graduated from Purdue University. So their engineering programs and also their agriculture programs for farmers to teach them how to raise crops and fertilize them properly and take care of animals. Um, that's another one of the big areas that Purdue University is known for. So most of the material is from there, and you can see a link at the bottom of the slide here if you're interested in looking at that. And you can find this online very easily. It's just owl.english.purdue.edu. Edu is the initials or the letters we use in the U.S. for schools, for education, as opposed to Korea, where it's ac.kr, where AC is for academic. Okay. So this is an owl, obviously, and you can see that I also actually have an owl above my shoulder here. And this is pretty cool. If you look at my hand is sort of detached from my body, kind of like magic. I noticed that earlier. There we go. Uh, I love these virtual backgrounds. They look kind of cool. So anyway, this is an owl, and the owl above my head here is going to be with me throughout today's lesson. So this is Purdue University's online writing lab material, or the Purdue Owl. Now, we talked before about a baby kangaroo. What's that called? Yeah, Joey. Okay, an adult kangaroo. It's a kangaroo. A baby kangaroo is a joey. What is a baby owl called? A small owl. We can use the word owlet. Actually, I'm not sure if that's the official term, but something small sometimes we'll add the ending et to it. I've got a few examples over on my whiteboard here. A cigar is kind of a uh, maybe longer, thicker version of uh, filled with tobacco that you smoke. A smaller version of that, much thinner, is a cigarette, like cigar et. So et here is like smaller. Or, for example, at home, you may have a kitchen, but if you go to a hotel where they have a small kitchen in your room or in your suite, they might just call that a kitchenette. It's not a full-size kitchen, but a kitchenette. Or you're familiar with novels, with books, a, a short novel, a small novel, um, could be called a novelette, a novelette. That would usually be, novelettes are usually not serious topics, and a lot of times they're kind of romance novels. So sort of a lighter material and a shorter read, a novelette. So cigarette, kitchenette, novelette, owlette. Now, what happens if you get an owlette wet, if you spray it with water? If you get it wet, then you have a moist owlette. Moist owlette. Now, as I say that, moist owlette, that sounds very much like moist towelette. Moist towelette. If I say it quickly, the T's kind of combine here, so I have a moist towelette. Moist towelette. a moist owlet. So, what is a moist towelette? Well, they you can get them sometimes in little packages like this, individually wrapped. My first experience with them was at KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, when I was a kid. And though they always had the original wet nap, which is a moist towelette, that's where I always saw them. What is a wet nap? Well, when you eat fried chicken, you get the oil and the grease from the chicken on your fingers, and so you would use napkin, a wet napkin or a wet nap to clean your hands. In Korea, of course, that is just known as a 물 tissue. 물, water, tissue, of course, tissue or a wipe of some sort. Now, in the US, the most common form of these is just baby wipes, because that's what most of them or a majority of them are used for, is to clean babies, to clean their faces, their hands, and especially to clean their bottoms when you change their diapers. So you can get baby wipes, or sometimes we just call them wet wipes. A wipe is like you wipe something, you clean it. Um, so you could also just call it a wet wipe. These are not specifically designed for babies. And you can see on the picture here, these are antibacterial. This is something that would be very popular right now with the coronavirus outbreak because people want things that kill germs, that kill bacteria. And these are designed for your hands and face. They call them moisturizing towelettes. Moisturizing because they have some vitamin E and aloe in them, so they would be good for your skin to help. They would not dry out your skin. I always have some like this. This is a brand I use. It's called Wet Ones. They are antibacterial hand wipes. Of course, you can use them on your face or other body parts as well. And these kill 99.99% of germs. So again, when there's well, like right now during the outbreak or any time, if you're unable to wash your hands with soap and water, or if you want to clean something and you want to make sure that you kill the germs, then this is something good to use. And they say here these clean better than hand sanitizers. And they say that because these actually, there's a cloth, so that's better at actually removing the germs and bacteria from your hands. Where if you just use the hand sanitizer, there's no friction there to actually remove those. Um, and so I buy boxes of these when I'm in the US. They're individually wrapped, and I just carry a few of them in my pocket just in case I need one. So, just a little pronunciation, just a little fun. A moist owlet or a moist towelette. Okay, so let us move on to the subject verb agreement. And there are going to be a lot of rules here. This will not be the most exciting class, probably. But there are some basic rules here that it's really important that you know and that you follow. So the term subject verb agreement means that a verb must agree in form with its subject. In other words, you must have the correct form of the verb, also called the verb form, and we can abbreviate that to VF, verb form. You need to have the correct form of the verb with the subject. Let's look at an incorrect example here. Okay, I said you need the correct one. This is an incorrect verb form. I is happy. I is happy. Does that sound correct to you? I hope not. Why do you know it's wrong, though? How do you know it's wrong? Because you've heard the correct form enough times that hopefully you recognize that this is incorrect. So what is the correct form? I am happy. I am happy. That's because am is the correct form of the verb to be with the subject I. This is what we call the infinitive form of the verb. The infinitive form of the verb, uh, where we have to plus the verb. I notice when I'm typing, my hands look really huge here because the laptop I'm using today, I may have mentioned in a previous class, the camera is right here, just above the keyboard at the bottom of the screen, which is also why it may feel like I'm looking above, because I'm looking at the screen rather than at the keyboard, so I can see uh, what's on the PowerPoint slides. So the verb to be, to exist, to be, um, with the subject I, we use I am. The subject and verb agree. It's the correct form of the verb. So what are the correct forms of the verb to be? You should remember these. I am, you singular are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you plural are, they are. These are the correct forms of the verb to be. I am, you are, this is you singular, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, they are. Okay? So hopefully those all sound correct to you. Um, Keep in mind that singular nouns require singular verbs. What does singular mean? Singular, single, means one. Okay? Only one. Only one person or one item or one thing. So a singular noun requires a singular verb. He is singular. He runs every day. So that's the singular noun, singular verb. Plural nouns require plural verbs. They run every day. They, plural, run. So run is the plural verb. Plural noun, plural verb. Something to be aware of here, to be careful with. As you know, plural nouns usually end in S. I'll say often end in S. One owl, two owls. One student, two students. The students are worried about the quiz. Students, plural, are plural. The students are worried about the quiz. By the way, we will have a quiz very soon. I will ask you about that at the end of class today. Singular verbs usually end in S. Wait, okay, let's back up. Plural nouns usually end in S. So if a noun is plural, it usually ends in an S. However, for verbs, it's often singular verbs that end in S. So don't let this confuse you. Don't think, oh, it ends in an S, so it's plural. That is true for nouns, but not for verbs. So verbs that are singular often end in S. She, singular, she walks to class. If it was plural, she walks to class, singular. Plural, they walk to class. Okay, so we've got some rules to go through here. And these obviously are on the slide. And so just follow along with these. And of course, you can review these later. But these will explain all of the rules for subject and verb agreement. Okay, so when the subject of a sentence is made of two or more nouns or pronouns. What do pronouns do? Pronouns replace nouns. Okay, so nouns or pronouns can be the subject here. Connected by the word and, so you have two or more nouns. So you have a noun and a noun joined by and. So this and this, that's plural. That's more than one. So that's plural, so we need a plural verb. She and her friends, plural, are at the fair. She and her friends are at the fair. Number two, when two or more singular nouns or pronouns, and these are all going to say nouns or pronouns. When two or more singular nouns or pronouns are connected by the word or nor, we use a singular verb. So you have a singular and a singular, not and. If you had and, that's plural, but this is connected by or. So you have this one or this one, only one, because these are singular. Only one, so the verb has to be singular. The book, singular, or the pen, singular. The book or the pen is in the drawer, singular. Okay? When a compound subject, compound, you take one thing and another thing and put them together. I'm laughing at my disappearing arms here. This is really cool looking. I feel like I'm like I don't know, like in a movie or something. My arms are disappearing. When a, sorry, I'm amusing myself. When a compound subject contains both a singular and a plural noun, so one is singular, one is plural, or pronoun, joined by or nor, so again, not both, the verb should agree with the part of the subject that is nearer the verb, closer to the verb. So you have singular and plural. You have one or the other, not both, separated by or nor. So you look at which one is closer to the verb, and you use that one. Okay? So the boy or his friends, the boy singular, his friends plural, the verb has to match the one closer to it. His friends run every day. The boy or his friends run every day. Just look at the one closer to the verb. If we switch those, his friends, plural, or the boy, singular, the boy runs every day. His friends or the boy runs every day. Okay? Number 4, doesn't is a contraction of does not. We've talked about contractions before. A contraction is when you have two words, like does not, and you join them together. You take out the space between them, and then usually one or two letters at least are missing. You replace those missing letters with an apostrophe. Doesn't. That is a contraction. Contractions will have this apostrophe here. Okay? Doesn't is a contraction of does not and should be used only with a singular subject. He, that's singular, he doesn't like it. Don't is a contraction of do not and should be used with a plural subject. They don't like it. Okay. And as we're going through these, I would suggest that you kind of repeat these sentences so you can hear what they sound like in your own voice so that you can remember them more easily. He doesn't like it. Now, repeat it. He doesn't like it. They don't like it. Now you repeat it. They don't like it. He doesn't. They don't. The exception to this rule, an exception to a rule means it doesn't follow the rule. It's a special case. The exception to this rule appears in the situation of the first person and second person pronouns, I and you. So if I'm talking about myself, the first person pronoun is I. I am the first person. Okay, but instead of saying John, I say I. That's a pronoun, first person pronoun. Second person is you. So instead of saying your own name, or if I want to talk about you, instead of using your name, I can say you. That's the first person and second person pronouns. With these pronouns, we use the contraction don't. Okay, that doesn't follow the previous rule. I don't like it. You try it. I don't like it. You don't like it. I don't, you don't. Okay, number 5. Do not be misled. Do not be confused by a phrase that comes between the subject and the verb. So what is a phrase? A phrase is simply a group of words. Okay? So do not be confused by a phrase that comes between the subject and the verb. You have the subject, you have the verb, and some words in between. Don't let those words confuse you. The verb has to agree with the subject, not with some noun or pronoun in the phrase. So, for example, the people who listen to that music are few. What's the subject? The people. The people are few. People are. Subject and verb. Who listen to that music, that phrase describes the people. Which people are few? The people who listen to that music. Okay? So music is a noun, but that is not the subject. We don't say music is few. Okay? Because music is not the subject. People, that's the subject. The people are few. One of the boxes is open. What's the subject? One. One is open. One of what is open? One of the boxes. Boxes is plural, but that is not the subject of the sentence. The subject is one. Of the boxes, remember that the word of is a preposition. So this is a prepositional phrase. That is a prepositional phrase, of the boxes. Okay? So one is subject verb. Let's look at a few more examples. The team captain, as well as his players, is anxious. The subject, the team captain, is subject verb. The book, including all the chapters in the first section, is boring. Subject verb. The book is boring. The woman with all the dogs walks down my street. Subject. The woman. Verb. What does she do? The woman walks down my street. Which woman walks down your street? Well, the woman with all the dogs. With all the dogs describes the woman. Okay? Gives us more information about her. So we know which woman we're talking about. The woman with all the dogs. What's the subject? Not dogs. Woman. Woman walks. Okay, number 6. The words each one, either, neither, everyone, everybody, anybody, anyone, nobody, somebody, someone, and no one are considered singular, and they get a singular verb. Now, stop the video, go back and read each of these out loud. That helps put them in your head, helps you remember them. Each one, either, neither, everyone, everybody, anybody, anyone, nobody, somebody, someone, no one. Now, notice all of these, most of these, except for each one, all of these, everyone, everybody, anybody, anyone, nobody, somebody, someone, these are all one word. However, no one is written as two words. That's because if we wrote it together, that looks like noon. Okay, it just doesn't look right. So no one has to be separated. We need a space there. Okay, these are considered singular. Each of these hot dogs is juicy. Each singular is singular. Each is juicy. Each what is juicy? Each of these hot dogs. Again, of these hot dogs is a prepositional phrase. Okay? Everybody knows Mr. Jones. Everybody, singular, everybody knows Mr. Jones. Everybody knows. Either. Not both, but either this one or this one is correct. Singular. Either is correct. Number 7. Nouns such as civics, mathematics, dollars, measles, and news require singular verbs. So what are these? What is civics? Civics is a course in school, a class. It would be a social studies class. Civics would talk about probably how the government is organized, how laws are made, how the president is elected, things like that. Voting and the government structure and organization. That would be a civics class. Mathematics, of course. Mathematics, math. Dollars. By the way, mathematics. Notice that it ends in an S. However, in the US, when we shorten it, the short form is just math. However, in the UK, they say maths. They study maths. In the US, we would just say, I study math. Those are both correct. Actually, the UK version makes sense because the word mathematics ends in an S. Okay, and so they still have the S here. In the US, we do not. Dollars, the currency, of course. Measles. What is measles? Measles is a disease. And news. These all get singular verbs. Even though all of them end in S, they sound plural. Civics, mathematics, dollars, measles, news. These are singular. The news is on at 6. Think of the news program, the news show, the news broadcast. Those are singular. The news show, the news program is on at 6. Now, note another exception here, or a special case. Note means pay attention. The word dollars is a special case. It doesn't follow the rule. When talking about an amount of money, we could say a sum of money or a quantity. Okay. My words disappeared. A sum of money or a quantity of money. An amount of money is a single amount. It's a single quantity. So that is singular. But when referring to the dollars themselves, to the currency, we use a plural verb. So $5 is a lot of money. $5, that's a singular amount. It's one sum. It's one quantity of money. $5 singular is a lot of money. $5 is a lot of money. Is $5 a lot of money? It depends on what you're talking about. Um, I've got a little Snickers bar here, almond Snickers. Now, notice this is just the, if I can get it in the camera there without it disappearing, this is the fun size Snickers. So you can see it's really small, okay? Um, so if I say, oh, how much did that cost? It was $5. What? $5 for a little tiny Snickers? $5 is a lot of money to pay for a fun size Snickers bar. That's a lot of money. Okay, so it depends on what you're talking about. Now, if I said, "Oh, I bought my cell phone," for $5, that would be a very cheap phone. Okay, so it depends on what you're talking about. Dollars are often used instead of rubles in Russia. Dollars, the currency, now it's plural. Dollars are often used instead of rubles in Russia. Number 8, nouns such as scissors, tweezers, trousers, and shears require plural verbs. That's because there are two parts to these things. So you know what scissors are? Gowie. Tweezers, tweezers, those little things you use to like pull out eyebrows, or if you have something in your finger, you might use it to remove a little piece of wood or glass or something. Tweezers, because there are two parts here. It's like two sections, two pieces. Tweezers. Trousers. Trousers, if you have a suit, you would have the jacket and the trousers. In the US, we might just call them the pants. Sorry, my Word file keeps moving here for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, we might just say the word pants. We'd have the jacket and the pants, or trousers. Of course, on trousers, there are two parts, two legs. Okay, so if you say trousers, that is, whoops, plural. However, if you say a pair of trousers, that is singular, because now you're talking about a pair. A pair is singular. Of trousers is a prepositional phrase again. Same thing if you say a pair of shoes. That's singular. One pair, a pair of shoes. Okay? Now, for trousers, I would use it for like more like dress pants. Pants that come with a suit in the US we call dress pants, like you dress up, you dress nicely. I would not use trousers for blue jeans. Okay. Shears. Shears are simply large scissors. Uh, in Korea, shears are very common in the kitchen. Kitchen shears, like large, strong scissors for cutting. These look more like fabric shears that you would use to cut material to make clothes from. Fabric shears. Okay. And these would be large shears you'd use to trim bushes or trees or something like that, for cutting something larger. And these, notice these have a long handle on them, so they'd be good for like reaching up to trim the branches of a tree. So nouns such as scissors, tweezers, trousers, and shears require plural verbs. These scissors are dull. Scissors, plural. Scissors are dull. These scissors are dull. Those trousers are made of wool. Trousers, plural. Trousers are. Those trousers are made of wool. Number 9. In sentences beginning with the words there is or there are, the subject follows the verb, because there is or there are, that's at the beginning. So the subject actually has to come after that. The word there is not the subject. So the verb agrees with what follows, with what comes after that. There are many questions. There are means there exist. Okay. The word there is not the subject. We have to look here to find the subject. Questions are. There are many questions. There is a question. Question, singular, question is. There is a question. So you have to kind of think ahead to the end of the sentence, or look ahead to the end of the sentence to do those correctly. In sentences beginning with there is or there are, followed by a compound subject. Remember, compound, we put two things together. If the compound subject contains two singular nouns or pronouns, joined by the word and, we use a singular verb. It's as if the items are being counted separately. Okay, for example, if we say there is a book on the desk and there is a pen on the desk. So there is a book and a pen on the desk. A book and a pen, compound, joined by and. We think of them individually, so we still just use is, singular. Okay, there is a book and a pen on the desk. There are two people in the room. Two people, plural, are. People are. There are two people in the room. But if we say there is a man and a boy in the room, man and a boy, we use the singular form. There is a man and a boy in the room. However, that means it's going to be something different here. However, in sentences beginning with there is or there are, followed by a compound subject that contains a singular and a plural noun or pronoun, joined by the word and, now the verb should agree with the part of the subject that is nearer the verb, closer to the verb. So, if we say there is a book and two pens on the desk, a book is singular, two pens is plural, joined by and, look at the one closer to the verb. There is a book and two pens on the desk. If we reverse this, two pens and a book, now this one is closer to the verb. There are two pens and a book on the desk. Okay. Number 12, collective nouns. Collective nouns are words that imply. To imply something means to suggest it. It doesn't say it specifically or exactly, but it suggests. It means more than one person. Collective nouns are words that imply more than one person, but that are considered singular and take a singular verb. Words such as group, team, committee, class, and family. So, for example, in a class, there are many people, but only one class. It's singular. The team runs during practice. The team, singular, runs during practice, even though there may be many people on the team. The committee decides how to proceed. The committee, singular. Committee decides how to proceed. The family, singular, has a long history. The family has a long history. Singular, singular, singular. However, in a few cases, the plural verb is used if the individuals in the group are thought of and specifically referred to. So in some cases, we're talking specifically about the individual people. My family have never been able to agree. So here you're talking specifically about different people in the family members. My family have never been able to agree. Now, I would say this is more of a British usage. I think most Americans would not even say this. We would say, like, my family members. My family members have never been able to agree. Okay. Number 13, expressions such as with, read these with me, with, together with, including, accompanied by, in addition to, or as well, do not change the number of the subject. If the subject is singular, the verb is to. The president, accompanied by his wife, is traveling to India. How many people are traveling to India? Well, the president and his wife, two people. What's the subject of the sentence? The president is traveling to India. Remember, don't be confused by a phrase that comes between the subject and the verb. All of the books, including yours, are in that box. What's the subject here? Let's look at this one by itself. All of the books, including yours, are in that box. Notice they put all of this in blue, indicating it's the subject. But what's the actual subject? All. All of the books, including yours, are in that box. All are. Remember, of the books, that is a prepositional phrase, of the books. So the word books is not part of the subject. Okay? All are in that box. Okay, that is all of the OWL rules. That is all of those. So you may want to go back and review these and look at them as you're doing the worksheet. Okay? I'm going to give you some lyrics here. I'll go ahead and show you the screen here. This is a song, another song from Schoolhouse Rock called "The Tale of Mr. Morton," and this little song talks about subject-verb agreement, or how the subject and verb work together. This is a really fun song, but I've talked long enough for today, so I will stop there, and we'll probably go through the song on Monday. Okay. Um, Now, I mentioned at the beginning of class that we need to have a quiz. All right. Next Thursday is April 30th, which is actually a national holiday. However, the university has said that this semester, because of the delay at the beginning of the semester, that we should have class on April 30th. Okay, so next Thursday will not be a holiday. It will not be a day off. My question is, um, would you like to do the quiz? What would you prefer? To do the quiz on Thursday, April 30th, or the following Monday? And that would be Monday, May 4th. So, do you prefer to have the quiz on March 30th, which is Buddha's birthday, or on, I'm sorry, not March 30th. That's wrong. April 30th. I'm sorry. April 30th, or on May 4th. So April 30th, that is next Thursday, or May 4th is the following Monday. Okay. It will be an online quiz, and it will basically cover uh, the first couple of weeks of the semester, those online quizzes. There's lots of vocabulary and some grammar in those, as well as the first two editors' challenges. Okay. I will not include the subject verb agreement on this quiz. Okay. Um, it will take the entire class. Um, it will be online. So you will need to be on Zoom so that I can see your face, so I can see your camera while you are taking the quiz. And it will probably be something like a Google Forms um, paper, or possibly another app. I'm still exploring my options for those. So, your attendance question for today. Tell me which one you would prefer, April 30th, which is Thursday, or Monday, May 4th for the quiz. All right, guys, have a great evening, and I'll see you on Monday.